Alright, so this video is going to cover the perfect aspect in a little bit more detail than we have before. In terms of meaning, we want to talk about the perfect aspect as meaning prior or before. And we also want to talk of it as being complete. So the acronym that we'd have for it is PPC. So it's perfect, prior, and complete. Just as a review, the simple acronym was SUC, meaning simple, unchanging, and complete. And the progressive acronym was PCI, meaning progressive, changing, and incomplete. So we have three forms that are based on the three tenses. So the past perfect form is formed with two words. The first word is always had, and the second word is always the past participle of the verb. The present perfect is formed with either has or have plus the past participle. So again, with two words. And then the future perfect will either be formed with three or five words, depending on whether it's will or be going to, plus have, plus the past participle. So starting first with the past perfect, let me give you some examples here. So we had, he had already left before I could offer him a ride. And we have, she had worked at the post office before 1962. Now, the meaning of the past with all of the aspects is the meaning of remoteness, meaning again that this is something distant from what is happening right now. But the meaning of the past perfect is that it's talking about an action that was completed in the past prior to or before some other past event or some other past time. So in the first example, the action that was completed first was the leaving. So he had already left. The other event that happened in the past was my wanting to offer him a ride. In the second example, we don't have two events, but we have one event and then we have a specific time. So she had worked at the post office was the event that happened first and was completed, and then the time is 1962. All right. So if we were to take a look at this, and I will actually be going over this example in class to explain how to use this with these times. So moving on to the present perfect. Here's some examples. I have been a teacher since 1967. I have already seen that movie. Mort has just finished his homework. So the meaning of the perfect, the present part of this tense is immediate factuality, meaning that it's true in the present moment. So in the first example, we have a situation that began at a prior point in time and continues into the present. So in the first example, I have been a teacher since 1967. Now, becoming a teacher happened in 1967, and this is not referencing me. By the way, I'm not quite that old. But it means that the first event that started was becoming a teacher, and that happened in 1967, and it has continued up until the present moment. The second meaning here is an action occurring or not occurring at an unspecified prior time that has current relevance. So what we're talking about is an action that happened at some time in the past, but we don't know when. We don't know the specific time that it happened in the past. But for some reason, it's important to the conversation right now. So in the second example, you have the person saying, I have already seen that movie. And what that means is that right now we're talking about the movie. Maybe we're thinking of going to a movie. So I say, I have already seen that movie because this is something that happened and was completed in the past, but it's relevant to right now. It's important to right now because we're making a decision about what movie to go and see. The last meaning here is a very recently completed action, and often you'll see this with just. So in this example, we have Mort has just finished his homework. So what we're talking about is an event that just completed quite recently. So in this case, Mort has just finished his homework. This means within, maybe within the past hour, he finished it. So we're using the present perfect in this case. Let me pause for a second and talk about the difference here between the present perfect and the simple past. Now, we remember that whenever we use the past tense of any of these aspects, what we are signaling is remoteness, a distance from the current time. And that when we say the present tense for any of these aspects, we're talking about something that is true right now or is immediately true in this present situation. So the difference between Mort has just finished his homework and Mort finished his homework, to the reader or the listener, has just finished indicates that this event happened recently. If you say Mort finished, it indicates that this event happened in the more distant past. So let's take a look at these ones. So we have this, we want to talk about what's the meaning for each one of these. So the first one is, I have seen that movie 20 times. So the meaning of this is the second meaning. We're talking about an event that happened at an unspecified time. We don't know when, but it has current relevance. Number two, I've known you since we were children. That's going to be with meaning number one, meaning an event that started in the past and has continued up until the present moment. I have just finished eating. That's going to be the third example, meaning an event that just completed or just ended very recently. He has studied 2 foreign languages. That one is going to be an event that happened at an unspecified time in the past, but has current relevance to right now. Bill has just arrived. That's an event that recently finished. We have been friends for 3 years. That's going to be an event that started in the past and has continued up until the present moment. So our last form here is the future perfect. Now, here's the examples for the future perfect. The first one is, I will, or I am going to have finished all this word processing by 5 p.m. At the end of the summer, the Blakes are going to have been married for 10 years. Now the meaning, again, we know that with will and be going to, the difference between them generally in terms of meaning is that will indicates a strong prediction, whereas be going to indicates a weaker prediction. So the meaning of this first one is a future action or state that will be completed prior to a specific future time. So what this means is that if we say I will have finished all this work by 5 p.m., it means that the event in the future that's going to happen first is me finishing the work and the word processing. And the event that is going to happen second, or rather not the event, but the time that will happen second, is 5 p.m. Okay, so let's take a look at these examples here. And just go ahead and take a brief look at these. And what we'll do is we'll work with these ones in class to review the tense. All right, so we'll see you in class, and bring any questions that you have. Take care. Bye.